You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button.
All right, so I want to start today kind of where we were finishing yesterday. If you were here yesterday at the end of the show in hour number 3, LSU quarterback commit Colin Hurley was with us. Gigantic recruiting weekend for all of college football. This is the last weekend before a dead period in recruiting, and so every school and everywhere is having a gigantic recruiting event this weekend. For LSU, it's the big Bayou Splash, kind of like a pool party, and some of the top uncommitted prospects around the country are going to be in Baton Rouge. So I wanted to have Colin Hurley on. Well, while Colin Hurley was on the show with us, Cai Bates committed to the Tigers. So I want to run through a little bit about Cai Bates and actually sort of take inventory of DBU right now. First of all, Cai Bates. He's out of Orlando, 6'1", 180. What you really need to know about this dude is he picked LSU over Alabama, Florida State, Tennessee, Auburn. Basically, everybody wanted this kid's commitment. LSU got it. That's huge. More so than just the commitment. And look, I can break down the class for you. LSU is now has 20 commits for the 2024 class. Cai Bates is the 4th cornerback commit. On3 has him as the number 92 overall prospect in the country. So this is a big-time player, right? Big-time player, one of the top 10 cornerbacks in the country, top 100 overall player in the country. You went to the state of Florida, and you got his commitment, and you got it over a lot of big-time SEC schools. All of that is really significant for those very obvious reasons. But here's why I think even more so this was so important. You know, LSU for so long had this reputation as DBU, right? And I'm not here to get in an argument about who the real DBU is. Like, go have that argument somewhere. I really don't care if it's LSU or Bama, Florida, Ohio State. Like, what you know on principle is they've had really good players at that position for a really long time, okay? And the margin is thin. But at the end of the Ed Ogeron era in Baton Rouge, it got bad. Like, when you actually look and chart out the numbers, it's really an illustration of why this class for LSU is so important in the secondary. Here's what I mean. In 2020, LSU signed 2 cornerbacks. Elias Ricks, who's the number 1 corner in the country, and Dwight McGlothern, who was a freak show, looked like a pterodactyl, like one of the guys that you typically see come through that program and play defensive back. 2, y'all know where Eli Ricks and Dwight McGlothern are today? Well, Ricks went to Bama for a year, didn't play, went to the draft, went undrafted. McGlothern is at Arkansas now for his 2nd season in Fayetteville. So you signed two cornerbacks in 2020, both of them left. In 2021, you signed 1. So had 1 cornerback, Demarius McGee. He gone too. He was here for 1 season. He's gone. Last year, so my point is, 2 years, 2020, 2021, you get what amounts to 0 cornerbacks. 0. You want to know why LSU last year in the offseason had to go sign Sevyn Banks, Jark Bernard-Converse, Mekhi Gardner, Colby Richardson? Like, you want to know why? That's why. Because you basically went 2 recruiting classes with no cornerbacks. So they had to go hit the portal a year ago with a lot of guys that were 1-year dudes. Every guy I just mentioned to you is gone. Banks, Jark Bernard-Converse, Gardner, Richardson, 1 year, gone, all of them. So you're left exactly where you were, except for the 3 guys you signed last year, Jordan Allen, LaTerrence Welsh, and Jalen Davis-Robinson. So, and Allen might actually end up playing safety. So you had to go in this class and do it again. Get a whole bunch of high school kids and a bunch of transfers. And they did. They got Deuce Chestnut and Denver Harris and J.K. Johnson and Zy Alexander, and they signed Ashton Stamps, Jeremiah Hughes, and Ryan Robinson. So they had to load up numbers. So when you look ahead now, you look to 2024, you've got 4 high school cornerbacks committed now. Cai Bates, who's a top 100 player we just mentioned, Jawan Johnson, Andre Evans, and Wallace Foster. So that's 4 for this class. You signed 3 in 23, 3 in 22, and now, like, you can look ahead and say that and Chestnut, Harris, Johnson, Alexander, the transfers. Chestnut and Alexander, both juniors, draft eligible, could be gone. Maybe they're back, but let's assume they both leave. Fine, this is what you're looking at for next year. LaTerrence Welch, J.K. Johnson, Denver Harris, 3 juniors. Stamps, Hughes, Robinson, all sophomores or redshirt freshmen, second-year players. You've got 4 freshmen committed, and then you could potentially add transfers. So that's, I'm not good at math. I'm really bad at math. But that's 10 for sure that'll be back, plus the 2 seniors that could come back, which makes 12, and that's before you consider any transfers. Now, you'll probably have attrition, but my point is, now you're actually dealing with a loaded deck. Like, you have a full room. You have enough cornerbacks to say, if somebody gets turf toe, you're not moving a safety to corner out of necessity. You've got numbers again. When you look back at how it ended, and this is not meant to be a shot, this isn't revisionist history, it's just what it is. The last 2 years that Ed Ogeron was here, he signed 3 cornerbacks. 3. Ricks, McGlothern, Demarius McGee. They're all gone. They all transferred. So it was essentially like you had 0 corners in a 2-year cycle. So Brian Kelly came in and had to remake that room with transfers, which he's done for 2 years now. And that basically was like, plugging the leak, right? It's like put your finger in the dam. That stopped the leak while he was able to sort of rebuild. I mean, think about it. It's like if your house is like if the bathtub is overflowing. You ever done that before? Like, you guys, y'all married, you know your wife's done this before. She turned the water on, left the room, and then it overflows because she forgot about it. Raise your hand. You know you did, Bo. You know you did. My wife's done it too. She left the sink in our laundry room running all night a couple months back. I woke up, honest to goodness, she's going to be so mad I'm saying this right now, but I woke up and I walked into the kitchen. I heard, shh. I'm like, what is it? Walked to the laundry room, sink was running. She had plugged the sink, and it was running all night long. Whole laundry room flooded. Thank God there was a lip and a drain in there so the whole house wouldn't flood, but like 9 hours of the sink running. Anyway, my point is, the first thing you do before you start cleaning up is you got to stop the water from running. Stop further damage. So that's what Brian Kelly did. He had to go get transfers. He did. He basically stopped it from flooding, and then you can go start the cleanup, which is what he's done now for 3 consecutive classes with obviously the 22 class with Allen, Welch, and Jalen Davis Robinson. Last year, his first full cycle with Stamps, Hughes, and Robinson, and now he's building an even bigger, better class behind all them with 4 committed now, and Cai Bates is the latest. So, I don't normally lead the show with recruiting. I'm not the biggest recruiting guy in the world. You listen or you watch for long enough, you know that, but at its most basic level, like, that's how programs are built, and it matters. And if you look at this LSU team with all of the hype surrounding it, if there's a spot on the team where you go, man, I don't know how that's going to go, it's probably the defensive backfield for the reasons we mentioned. Well, he's fixing that, and Cai Bates was a big part of it. So,
hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.